All right, everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, glad to be back.
This time I thought we could look at something a little different. Uh, Career advancement in academia.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good to me.
So I came across this article on academicjobs.com, actually, by the CEO, Jared Canizay.
Oh,
And
yeah, I know. I've heard of him.
it's called 7 Reasons Why You Aren't Getting Promoted as an Academic,
Oh.
with a very important parenthetical and how to turn it around.
Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom.
No, no, no.
Oh,
It's actually quite
not
hopeful.
awful.
But his main point that I thought was really interesting is that even when you're doing a good job, even when you're like a high performer in your department, there are these hidden traps that you can fall into.
Right, like almost subconscious things could
Exactly.
be holding you back.
Yeah. So
It's really interesting.
I thought it'd be good to go through all 7 of these.
Okay.
Maybe give some advice
Yeah.
to our listener.
Okay, let's do it.
So the first one is this idea of the shadow successor. And now this one really resonated with me because he's basically saying that sometimes you become so good and so essential to your department
Right.
that your boss doesn't want to promote you because
Because they can't.
they can't afford to lose you.
Yeah, they need you right where you are,
Right.
doing that thing that only you can do.
So what do we do about that?
Well, I think it goes back to something that we've talked about a little bit before, which is, you're always working towards making yourself replaceable.
Oh, interesting.
And I know that sounds a little bit counterintuitive. You're always trying to do the best job,
Mhm.
but you also need to be thinking about, well, if I were to get promoted tomorrow,
Right.
could somebody step into my role?
Is there a system?
Yeah. Are there training documents? Is there
Yeah.
somebody that, maybe I could delegate some of these tasks to and start training them now?
Cross-training.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's not such as,
Talk to the system.
a shock to the system if you were to move up.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think about it like you're building a bench strength
Oh, I like that.
for your department,
Yeah, that's great.
You want to have those people ready to step up.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the shadow successor trap.
Okay.
Now, the next one, I think a lot of people are going to relate to this, is the invisible worker.
Ooh, yeah.
This is where you're doing the work. You're getting things done.
Right.
But you're just not getting noticed for it.
Nobody sees you.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Well, I mean, I think that this is where communication comes in, and not just any kind of communication, but strategic communication.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of times in academia, we get caught up in the work, heads down, doing the research, writing the papers,
Right.
and we kind of assume that will speak for itself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always.
You've got to advocate for yourself.
Exactly. You have to
Yeah.
be your own advocate. And I think a good place to start is those one-on-one meetings with your manager.
Oh, that's a good point.
Come prepared with a
Yeah.
list of accomplishments.
Oh, that's great. And be able to articulate how those accomplishments are directly contributing to the goals that they care about.
That's good.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about, aligning your work with the bigger picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, and make sure that you quantify it.
Yes, quantify.
Instead of saying, I improved the website, say, I increased user engagement by 20%.
Yes, exactly.
Because those numbers really stand out.
Absolutely. Data speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
So invisible worker. What's next?
Let's see. The next one is the crisis hero.
Oh, the crisis hero.
Now, I think we all know somebody like this.
Yeah.
Maybe we've even been this person at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Where you're always putting out fires, you're always saving the day.
Always the one to jump in.
Right, exactly. But the problem with that is that it can become your identity.
Right. You become reactive instead.
Exactly. You're always reacting instead of being proactive.
Right.
And that can really limit your growth potential.
That's a good point, because you're not seen as a strategist.
Right. You're not seen as somebody who can think ahead and anticipate problems.
You're just the one who comes in and fixes them after they've already happened.
Exactly. And so Knizi's advice here is to start looking for patterns in those crises.
Okay.
Are there any root causes? Are there any systemic issues that keep leading to these same problems?
Right.
And if so, can you propose solutions that address those underlying causes?
So you're not just putting out the fire, you're figuring out why the fire started in the first place.
Exactly. You're becoming a fire prevention expert.
That's a great analogy.
And I think that's a much more valuable role to be in.
Because it shows leadership.
Absolutely. It shows that you're thinking ahead.
You're thinking strategically.
You're not just reacting to the situation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
All right, so we've talked about shadow successor, invisible worker, crisis hero,
All right. What's next?
comfort zone champion.
Ooh.
And I know this is going to be a hard one for some people because in academia, you find your area of expertise, you
No.
find your niche,
Right. You become the expert in that one thing.
and you just want to stay there.
Right. Because it's comfortable.
It's comfortable. Yeah.
It's safe.
And you're good at it.
Exactly. But the problem is that comfort can lead to complacency.
And so I think what he's getting at is that in order to really grow and advance,
You have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone.
right,
You have to be willing to take on new challenges and learn new skills.
yeah. So what does that look like? I mean, how do we do that?
Well, he recommends seeking out what he calls stretch assignments.
Stretch assignments.
Yeah, these are tasks that are outside of your normal responsibilities.
So like what?
It could be something like leading a new committee or mentoring a junior faculty member or maybe developing a new course
Oh, yeah.
that's outside of your usual area.
That's a good point.
The key is to find opportunities that will allow you to grow and learn and demonstrate your ability to handle new challenges.
Right, because it shows that you're not afraid to.
Take risks.
Take risks and you're willing to learn.
Exactly, and that you're not complacent,
Right.
which I think is really important in a field like academia.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done 4, let's see, false promise chase.
Ooh. Yeah, this is a tough one.
I've been here
I think we've all been there.
where you're promised a promotion down the line,
Right?
but it never materializes.
Yeah, and it can be really demoralizing
Yeah.
because you're working hard, you're doing everything that's asked of you, but you're not seeing that recognition.
And so Knize's advice here is to be very clear about expectations
Yes.
from the beginning.
Yes, clarity is key.
So don't rely on vague assurances.
You're right.
Like, oh yeah, we'll see what happens down the line.
Exactly.
You need to have a very specific conversation about what are the milestones, what are the timelines.
Exactly. And ideally, you want to get those commitments in writing
Oh, that's a good point.
because then you have something to refer back to.
Yeah, that's great. Okay,
All right.
2 more.
Let's see. The solo performer.
Okay, solo performer. So I'm guessing this is someone who's really good at what they do.
Right. They excel individually,
Right.
but they haven't really focused on developing others.
Okay.
And I think this is a really important point because in academia, it's not just about individual achievement, it's about collaboration.
It's about being a good colleague.
Exactly. It's about building a strong team and mentoring others.
So how do you recommend that people kind of break out of that solo performer?
Well, I think it starts with recognizing that your success is not just about you.
Right.
It's about the success of the team as a whole.
It's about the department.
Exactly. And so look for opportunities to mentor others, to share your knowledge, to create scalable processes
Oh, that's a good point.
that can benefit the entire department.
Yeah,
Because when you invest in others, you're ultimately investing in yourself.
that's great.
All right, last but not least.
Peer competitor.
Yes, the peer competitor.
This is a tough one, too. I feel like in academia, it's so competitive.
Oh, it's incredibly competitive.
Yeah.
And it's easy to fall into the trap of viewing your peers as rivals.
Right. Like it's a zero-sum game.
Exactly. Like if they succeed, it means you fail.
Right.
But that's just not true.
So how do you get out of that?
Well, I think it starts with shifting your mindset.
Okay.
Instead of viewing your peers as competition, view them as collaborators.
Oh, that's a good point.
Focus on how you can help each other succeed.
Right.
Because when you lift others up, you ultimately lift yourself up as well.
It's not a zero-sum game.
Exactly. There's enough success to go around.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And I think, in the long run, building a reputation for being a supportive and collaborative colleague will serve you much better than being known as a cutthroat competitor.
Right, because people will want to work with you,
Exactly. People want to work with people who are positive and supportive.
who make them feel good,
Exactly.
who make them
Yeah.
feel like they can succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So I really liked all of these 7 traps from Jared Knize.
Yeah, me too.
What was your biggest takeaway from all of that?
I think it really comes down to being strategic and intentional about your career.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart.
Thinking about the big picture.
Exactly. Thinking about the big picture and making sure that your actions are aligned with your goals.
And knowing that even if you're a high performer, there are still these subtle things that could be holding you back.
Right. And once you're aware of them, you can start to address them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really empowering.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you know what? If you are thinking about maybe making a change in your higher education career, head over to academicjobs.com.
Oh, yeah, that's a great resource.
I mean, they have everything from local community colleges to the best universities in the country.
Right. You can find anything.
And you can set up job alerts so you don't even have to go looking for them.
That's so convenient.
It's super convenient, and you can create a professional profile in just 60 seconds. So you can create your future career opportunities today.
I love that.
Yeah. All right, so think about those 7 traps, and until next time, keep learning and keep striving.
See you next time.